All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started because this one is going to be a shorter one than normal, so everyone can get an early start on your holiday-ish. So, first of all, do we have any citizen, or it's 6:30, and do we have any citizen comments? All right, the next item is consider approving the following minutes and take appropriate action.
I had an error on the October 9th minutes that I didn't notice. So the only change from that was I had attendance marked incorrectly. Everything else is the same on that. And then there's the minutes from today. So we can do that all in one motion.
Okay, so motion to approve the minutes as amended and approve the November minutes.
So moved.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes. The next one is receive staff update on sustainability initiative.
Right. We're slowly moving forward with Salt Mart, Lead for Cities, and the greenhouse gas inventory. So that's going to keep me busy this winter. The active transportation plan, we should have the draft next Wednesday from the consultants. So we'll review that internally with any things that we have. We'll probably at least send it to y'all to look at as well before we take it to council. It'll go in a study session and then for a vote. Some grant funding that's coming available. I'm looking into some urban heat measurement grants that would basically allow us to do similar to what the city of Dallas did, like the drive-through in the summer with the sensing technology. Also, TxDOT has some trail funding. We're looking at a trail connection kind of near Inwood along an on-court easement that we might apply for with that. And then TCEQ, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, has some grant funding for EVs that we're going to consider going after as well. And our next meeting is January 8th. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, have a great new year.
Great. Any questions? Discussion? All right, the next item is discussing sustainability initiatives from other cities. So this is what we touched on briefly last meeting. The idea is that everyone comes with an idea of something sustainable that they've seen that either expands or accelerates what we're currently doing within our master plan. And it could be something that we could look at possibly adopting on our own. So the idea is not to create anything new because we've got a pretty solid plan that we've been working. But yes, so the idea is one idea or more, if you so choose, just to present to the group. So having an idea fair, if you will. So, and Alex, I know you have some deadlines for.
Yes, so I'll follow up tomorrow with an email. I'll have like a slide template if you want to put anything on a slide.
Don't have to.
And then, yeah, you don't have to do that. But if you want to, I'll provide the deadline for that so we have it in the agenda. But yeah, with work said, just kind of making sure we're looking at our peers, and if there's a good idea, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So it's kind of an opportunity as to even maybe have a little bit of downtime in the holidays to see what other folks are doing. If there's something that maybe we could replicate here in Farmers Branch, that would be wonderful.
Discussion, questions?
Well, that's we discussed the 8th.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Kick off the new year. New idea. Yeah.
The first is on Wednesday, right? Is that right?
Uh-huh.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so it's the earliest meeting.
Yep. So if you haven't taken a look at the sustainability plan in a while, definitely encourage you to take a look at it. Got some great updates, and Alex has done a really good job of keeping it up to date. So the next thing is receive subcommittee updates. Built Natural Environment, Val and I have not met. I need to probably soon. Communications, any updates?
Jasper, I say we, but it's really Jasper, has been working on getting us a shared Google Calendar so we can put all of the other like committee meetings on it and maybe like events. So that way we kind of have one centrally located place to look and see what's going on. And then as we increase our attendance at these different events, that'll be a good way to be like, oh, Val's gonna go to this, and then, oh, Lauren can go to that one, or if we want to schedule something. So hopefully we'll have that, and we'll have some other stuff to talk about after the first of the year, too.
All right, water conservation.
Still waiting on the meter activation. I could start and I'll dive into that one. As far as any other water conservation ideas, it's just pretty much went through a lot of them. We're kind of running out. One thing I was going to ask about, I think this is built natural environment though. I remember seeing, and I can't remember if I ever brought it up before, like the water not absorbing, but kind of direct, whatever, the swales that get built in like the areas where, like, I remember seeing it in Tampa and in some other areas, like where like you can get risk of high water, when it comes through, just being able to, instead of it just going boom right down in, it's like kind of just like be able to redistribute it across so that it's not all at once. So I don't know if that's big. I think that's more built natural environment, but that's something that I think is really worth looking into, especially when it's spring, when it really starts raining heavy again and everything just gets washed up. That was by your house, Lisa, where it was a couple of years ago where all of it was on Rawhide and Josie, where the whole thing was completely flooded over all the way across, right by the crosswalk.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's right by the spillway. And the spillway was like almost to the road. So if there's just something we can do about that, that's something that's been on my mind for a while.
Or maybe even like in line with like the composting class that we have. So like my property pitches towards the creek so that everything runs down. So like on the creek side, I mean, I'm not near the creek, but on the creek side of my house, the ground is lower and I get like 4 or 5 inches of water standing. That's days after it's rained. But if I could build some kind of like berm or some kind of, because really the way to get the water to it's like you want it to slow it down so it can trickle back down into the ground. But it's also a mosquito hazard. It's also like but like as a resident, if there was some way that I could learn how to improve, slow down the runoff through my landscaping or ground dirt work or something, so that it's not just sitting, but it's also not just pouring down the driveway or whatever,
Right.
and flooding the. I don't know how that would fit in with.
Maybe that's an idea for January.
Yeah,
But
if you come up with some kind of,
see what's out there.
how to defer water from the storm.
Yeah, what you can do on your lot.
Right. Right.
Rain,
To better manage storm.
And I do think it's probably more under future agenda items. I think in March, we'll probably have Eric Mueller, who is our stormwater engineer for the city, come and speak to the group. So that would be kind of a good way to get maybe some conversation rolling on
I
that.
don't know.
Okay, cool. Anything else? Any other? Any update? Okay, the next item, update from committee members on activities attended.
I'm a member of the French Chamber of Commerce Leadership Class this year. And last month we took a tour. It was very, what is it? We ran in Louisville.
The land.
The landfill. I think it's sanitation. So it was amazing to see the operation and the trucks and equipment, how it works. Anything that.
Then at Brookhaven tomorrow is that meeting with the local reps, right?
4 to 6 p.m. tomorrow
4 to 6, yeah, at
in
Brookhaven.
the new building.
What?
In the newest building, the one where the tennis court used to be, right next to this,
Okay,
the
what's it?
The reps for local reps from.
There's gonna be, Sandra Hernandez, rep,
State representative,
like,
got you.
yeah, the state. So if you want to go yell at them like I am.
Oh, my.
Good note.
I probably would be yelling.
The building, I thought you said the, B is in Victor.
Then if there's no other items, the last item on our agenda is to discuss future agenda items. For upcoming.
I think everybody should come up with an idea of something they've seen and say, oh, wait.
There you go, I get there. You know what? Come on. All right, if there is no further discussion,
Actually, I just have a question.
please.
And maybe I missed the discussion. Is there a reason behind the decision to stop remote attendance?
I was told it was basically so we don't avoid anything with the Meetings Act. So I guess there's rules on people being on camera the whole time that maybe they've had some issues with. So, yeah, we just got the director from the city manager on that.
And that most likely came from the state, correct?
So yeah, I mean, I know they had some stuff during COVID to like allow people to do that. I don't know if that expired or if they were just worried about a potential violation. And it kind of was not worth the risk for them on the committees, just since I think with the council, you know, they have the IT group that can facilitate and make sure all of that's in line, whereas some of the committees were a little bit decentralized throughout the city and we record for the OWL machine, not the professional stuff. So that was the ultimate exact concern was what I was told.
Okay.
It's professional me, honestly.
I just think that's unfortunate, you know,
Yeah.
as a committee member, like if you're not well, instead of coming here and spreading germs, to be able to attend remotely.
Sorry.
No,
You know, and
It's not an attack.
But if you don't want to hit 3 strikes, you know, I just think that's unfortunate. And if there were violations, you know, it'd be nice if they said something and said, hey, we really need to make sure that you stay on camera.
Yeah.
So whatever you need to do that, I just think that would have been a little more,
Yeah.
instead
I
of just
agree.
cutting it off at the knees and saying,
I'm torn.
exactly.
And people travel for work, you know, like I
Yeah.
was in Little Rock and I lucked out that I was able to attend that remotely, even though my microphone didn't work, but
Has there been any consideration about changing the attendance policy? Like
Yeah.
since we're in person now, maybe allowing for more absence?
we'll ask, because I'll take the feedback to the city secretary's office and just kind of let them know some of the concerns about like, hey, you know, I don't want to spread germs. We're still
You
gonna.
got one in the room sick.
Yeah. I appreciate you wearing masks. But no, I mean, also I'll pass it along and I'll ask if there's been with that change, if they're open to a change in the attendance policy.
Well, originally, or went back, before it was the committee got to decide if it was an approved absence. But then there were people on the committee, on certain, you know, there were people that were like, repeat, and then people were like, I'm using this absence, they will, you know, so it turned into like a internal conflict kind of situation. So I think that's why the policy was originally put in place, like flat. You can only miss this many meetings. Is responsible for deciding that the absence is legitimate, so we're gonna approve it, or what, you know.
Right.
So, but I agree, you can't just go away.
Yeah,
We're not helpful.
no recourse.
I will be sure to inquire about the attendance policy and just let them know kind of consensus and feedback.
And
on
can you give us maybe not, like, if there are people who have missed, can you be sure to alert everyone, like, oh, you've already missed one, or?
Yeah, I have especially now with the remote stuff ending, I have a spreadsheet that has like because of the 12-month rolling.
Mhm.
So I do have that. I
Okay.
update that every month. So whenever someone has 2 absences, it turns yellow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Warning.
I had to Google how to
So
code, not code that, but the formula.
does it start over in January or I heard you just say rolling?
It's on 12 month, it's within the last 12 months. So if you missed, that the policy is.
That's even
confusing on that.
worse.
Yeah, so, you know, if you missed 2 meetings at the start of the year, they're gonna follow you for 12 months
Mhm.
versus, so I
You
guess.
missed January and February.
Yeah,
you can't
then
have
you'll
it.
still have that.
Or you
That's,
have one
later in
more.
The next January versus the calendar year.
Yeah.
However, it does restart. So if you I can't remember who all got a new term this summer. When you got your new term, it sets to 0. That's what I'm told. So
Is it that you can miss 3 and then the 4th one you're out, or?
when you're out, yeah.
Okay.
So you can't miss more than 25%. So that's why we meet 12 times a year. We had talked originally about meeting 10 times a year. I think that's what we used to do before the attendance policy, but that would only give people 2 misses, and then that third one would kick them out by doing just a short meeting in December and, sometimes a shorter one in July instead of having the whole month off, just kind of doing the short one. That allows people to miss up to 3. Because our board is pretty unique that I think every one of you is still actively working and sometimes have to travel for work and everything like that versus, the senior advisory board, a good portion of those individuals are retired. So they can, they don't have as much on their schedule perhaps. So I will be sure to kind of note that and give that information to the city secretary's office and just let them know kind of some of our concerns with that.
Any other discussion?
I have a question. We currently have an alternate number 2 open, right?
Right.
We have a candidate, we're just waiting for them to schedule that?
I asked about that the other day to see when they had a timeline. So typically what they do on board vacancies is they wait until either a board is at risk of not having quorum, or if there's 3 separate vacancies across other boards and have candidates to fill. That way they're not filling every month. Oh, there's a gap on arts and culture. And then the next month, so they kind of wait to do it like that. I reached out earlier this week to try to get an idea if it's going to be sooner, like we're going to have someone, appointed in January, or if it's going to be a little bit longer than that. But I do believe that they're taking applications kind of on a rolling basis for that. And once they hit kind of that threshold, they'll take it to council. Such as whether there's enough vacancies on other boards as well.
Is quorum just like 51% or whatever, so over 50 or?
Quorum is 4. So we have 7 members. So 4 constitutes a quorum. That's why I like when we have subcommittees and other meetings, there's only 3 people there. So 4 constitutes a quorum. And then, people are absent, then the alternates fill in there. So the alternates, I guess because they're on an alternate, not a voting member, that allows quorum to be 4, not 5 or whatever. Yeah. So as long as we have 4 people in attendance, we have a quorum. We can take actions at meetings.
Yeah, but it makes it hard to split up into the subcommittees and come up with ideas. It would be better to have a full board.
Have 9 members.
Yeah.
Quorum be 5.
Yeah. So, I don't know how the other boards and or committees work, and maybe they, are structured differently, but
I think most of them are structured similar to us. I think before they reestablished the committee, the sustainability committee, they kind of put, I think, all the boards on a 7-member, 2 alternate, kind of for consistency.
yeah, but do they break up into subcommittees?
A good portion of them do. I think like library board and arts and culture for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, they're bound by the same kind of rules because once you have 4 people at council.
Right. Well, yeah, it'd be helpful if they would go ahead and fill a vacancy.
Yeah.
If they have applicants.
Eager for more hands.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I hear you. All right, anything else?
Maybe this is silly, but if you can attend virtually and still be kind of absent, but you want to attend virtually, is that acceptable, or we're not even allowed to let people attend virtually? Citizens or anyone?
I think that we could do that. It wouldn't probably count for the absence based on the policy, but if you were away and you wanted to attend and just so you could see that, then we could probably arrange that. It just wouldn't impact the attendance. And then the meetings are also recorded. So if you aren't feeling well, you can always watch it, a couple days later.
Has there been any discussion about having hybrid committees so citizens could tune in?
Not that I'm aware of.
You mean like the city council meeting? Put up a slide.
Yeah. Wouldn't have to be that.
I think the issue with that is like to broadcast it. There's I think they have a contractor that with broadcasting and everything with that, and so there's a cost associated. So before we didn't used to film the meetings here. It was kind of brought up at council about filming them. they mentioned, well, we're gonna do that to have people, if we were to meet in the council chambers or study session where they have the cameras and everything in place, then you have to pay the kind of contractor to run that. And the OWL recorder was kind of the temporary, or what kind of, maybe not temporary, because we've been doing it for a while, but the middle cost solution. It's like you can still film the meetings and give residents an opportunity to watch them at a later date. It's cheaper, but you don't get the live option. So I think it's just kind of a balance. This was sort of the compromise they found.
All right. Anything else? Okay. With that, is there a motion to adjourn? Second? Thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, it is 6:50 on the dot.
20-minute meeting, good job.
I didn't want to jump in and be like, the motion guy when there's only two